Welcome to the No Limits Podcast, where limits do not exist, where you can create cash flow, equity, and real freedom with the power of real estate.
3, 4. Now, we will begin.
Welcome to the dojo.
Don't listen to yourself, talk to yourself. That's the topic of today's show. This is Todd Toback, and welcome to the No Limits Real Estate Investing Podcast. Now, if this is your first time listening to the show, head on over to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com, and I've got a copy of the No Limits Map. This is the massive action plan. And whether you're trying to scratch and claw your way to your first deal and quit your job, or you're trying to scale your business to 7 figures and have a company that does deals without you and spits off cash month after month after month, this is the exact blueprint to get you there. So head on over to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com and you can get a free copy of the No Limits Map. So I'm going to give you a skill that is going to change the game for you. So I'm going to start this episode with another story. So recently on my birthday, which just passed, I just turned 43. And every year on my birthday, I write a workout, and me and my 2 sons, and sometimes my 2 older daughters, we name it, and the entire family does it with me. So this year we named it T43 because I was turning 43. And so we wrote the workout, and my 2 youngest boys and they were really, really excited for the workout. And we decided that we were going to run some stairs in a local amphitheater without stopping for 43 minutes, right? We were going to go as hard as we could at 43 minutes and just really, really kill it. And so I told my boys at the beginning, I said, hey, look, this sounds easy, but it's going to be really, really challenging. And so it's going to be really important that when you're not feeling it, when you're feeling tired or you want to quit, that you want to talk to yourself and not listen to yourselves. And so one of the things that I tell my boys every night who are into kind of racing because I am, is, you got to have like a little mantra that you say to yourself. And so the 3 things that I tell them when we're working out or whether, they're doing a race or something, and they're all swimmers also, I say, hey, I want you to talk to yourself and tell yourself you're mentally tough, that you get stronger as the race goes on, and that you outwork everybody. Those are the 3 things that I tell themselves to say every single night before they go to bed, and then when they do their workouts in swimming. And then specifically, this particular workout, I knew was going to be particularly challenging for them. And I said, look, if you got to talk to yourself, you don't want to be embarrassed that anyone's looking at you or watching at you. I mean, you don't need to scream it out loud so everyone can hear it, but you want to say it loud enough either in your mind or say it out loud so that you hear it. So about 10 minutes into the workout, I see my youngest boy, who's 8 years old, start to struggle, right? He's getting tired and slowing down, and he's breathing heavy. And I look at him right in the eye, and right before I say something, I already knew he knew what I was going to say. And he basically said to me, I know, Daddy, talk to myself, don't listen to myself. And I said, okay, then let's do it. And so all of a sudden I start seeing his lips moving, right? And he's saying, I'm mentally tough. I get stronger as the race goes on. I outwork everybody. And then my other boy, who is now 11, starts doing the same thing. And so for me, I take everything to the extreme in our family. My wife says I have no moderation whatsoever. And she was actually at this amphitheater with me with my 2 girls. And I start saying it, but I'm saying it out loud, right? And I'm like, we're mentally tough. We get stronger as the race goes on. We outwork everybody. And I kind of stuck on that last one. We outwork everybody. We outwork everybody. And I'm saying it pretty loud. And, for me, I don't really care what anyone else thinks. And of course, my wife is like, oh my gosh, my husband is so embarrassing. But I tell you what, my boys were just so focused, and the pace picked up, the excitement picked up. And man, we got through that workout, the second half, much stronger than the first. There was no complaining, and it seemed like we were working harder, right? It seemed like we were breathing heavier and we were going faster, but the negative thoughts, the negative talk had no room because of all the positive stuff that we were saying to ourselves and that we believe and that we were ingraining it into our minds. And so I want to really encourage you, right? This was just really powerful for me to see because, obviously I saw it in the other two people around me, right? And so when you're by yourself, a lot of times when you're a solopreneur, even with your team, when you're leading, sometimes it's really lonely, right? You don't realize how your self-talk can really, really affect you both in a negative way and a positive way. Unfortunately, when you are by yourself or you're in isolation, or maybe just, you're in a small company, is that self-talk can get you and there's no one there to help pull you out, right? And so you must be intentional about, number one, recognizing negative self-talk, but then turning that around and filling your brain with that positive self-talk. And I'm telling you, once you learn how to turn on this trigger, it is awesome, right? And you're going to run into all kinds of obstacles, and those voices and negative thoughts are going to come in. They're going to try to sneak in and creep in and tell you that you're not good enough, that the market is too hard, that you should just stay at your job and get a simple salary and just, eventually retire when you are 65 years old, or that your competition is better than you, or that this is just not worth it or doesn't work, right? All of these negative thoughts are going to start to creep in whenever you hit a setback. And so it's really important to flip the script, whether you say this internally or whether you say it out loud, which I always recommend, right? People may think that you're crazy, but you could say it in a place where maybe there's no one around, but you are good enough, right? You are better than the market. You should not stay at your job if that's not what you want to do. You should expand and help other people and make millions and invest and give away and help people who are less fortunate than you. And your competition is not better than you, okay? Because you listen to this podcast and invest in yourself every single day, and you are 1% better than you were yesterday. And it is absolutely worth it, and you will hit your goal. And so this self-talk over and over and over and over and over again, you're going to start to develop these neural pathways in your brain. And let me tell you, the whole science behind neural pathways and basically the message that you tell yourself and the way that you think and the way that you operate is real. There's a great book you may have heard of called Think and Grow Rich. And there are a lot of other books just like this. There's called Release Your Brakes, I think by James Newman. And there are a ton of other books about this, but the way that you talk to yourself, and listen, I've talked about affirmations before and how you should say stuff to yourself every morning and every night, but also during the day when you're feeling a certain way, you're not feeling that way, or you're dealing with a particular situation, you got to have your quick go-tos, So for me, this is worth it. This is going to get better. I'm putting in work that my competition is not. This new marketing strategy is going to crush it. And if it doesn't, I'm going to tweak it until it does. And this is really, really important. Remember, when you fill your brain with this stuff, okay, it's not some hocus pocus magic. It actually drowns out the noise, right? And you get yourself on the right path, right? So when you're negative and you're talking to yourself in a bad way, right, you tend to isolate and withdraw and, get depressed and not take action. But when you say this positive stuff, right, it changes your mood, you're more uplifted, and then you will take action. And then when you feel that hesitation, right, that hesitation where the fear creeps in, that self-talk helps you push. So if we go back to that story, to my son, right? When he does that negative self-talk, well, at that point, he can choose to keep going or stop. But if he's like, hey, this is too hard, I bit off more than I can chew, at that point, he may stop, right? And then the workout is done, and then his body doesn't adapt, right? Because that last 10 minutes of the workout is the growth part, right? The last 10 minutes is the most important part where the body changes and you become strong. Right? But in that moment, if he flips the script and keeps going and he fights through that, right? Then during those last 10 minutes, he's working as hard as he can. And now the body adapts and he's stronger. So your words determine, right, your mood, and your mood determine your actions, and your actions determine your results. And this cycle repeats over and over and over and over and over again. And it all started with a self-talk, right? Where you had a choice to either listen to yourself or talk to yourself. So my encouragement for you today, your action item, is kind of write your 4 or 5 go-tos during the day where you feel like you want to quit, or you feel like it's too hard, or you feel like, you are unsure, right? Write down your 4 or 5 things that you're going to say to yourself when things get cloudy or you are not feeling it. And when you do, make sure that you say those things and get yourself on the right track. Remember to head on over to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com if you have not downloaded the map. And if you've enjoyed today's content, please copy and paste the link to the show wherever you consume it and share it with 3 or more of your friends who you think need to hear it. Talk to you soon.